Well, it's here. The patch dropped 1.30, and it dropped in the middle of the night when I was fast asleep. But that doesn't really matter because it was absolutely enormous, so it was a good job that I was asleep, actually. 10 gig on the PS4 with 1,000 fixes included in it. My god, that's a lot of bug correction. Now, you're probably smoking something, to be honest with you, if you think I'm going to go over all of that lot, and if you are, well, you know, enjoy yourself. But I thought I'd cherry pick some of the more impactful changes and see if it's changed the game for the better. Now, getting into the game-crashing ones, they fixed a host of bad save states and mission-specific bugs in the campaign that either resulted in crashes or people falling through the floor because of holes in the geometry. I was a victim of this, actually, and it was really annoying, but I had to wipe my save and start from the beginning again. I was Thor, and I got into the Hulkbuster, and the entire game jammed up, and I was rooted to the floor, and I just couldn't move at all. And it didn't matter what I did or whatever game mode I loaded into, I was stuck. So I had to wipe my save and start again. That was really irritating. Still, loads of people had a bad day from day one with these kinds of bugs, and it doesn't do the game. It didn't do the game any favours though, did it really? Right, let's get into the more juicy ones. Now then, first of all, it's always really bothered me when I couldn't knock down a wall as Captain America. I mean, let's face it, it's Captain America. Surely he can smash down walls. And also the terminal thing where you'd see a terminal there and you'd wander up as Thor or something and you just couldn't do anything about it. Well, they fixed it. Or rather, they haven't fixed it. What they've actually done is put a little message on the screen telling you why you can't do this, which I find, to be honest, a little bit irritating. So now you know that Thor is actually an idiot and not be in the dark about it at all. Because when you see him sometimes using terminals, he just waves his hammer in the air and it works. Why he can't do that in those terminals is completely beyond me. I think this is really super annoying and they need to get rid of it. All characters should be able to access hidden areas in the game. That kind of thing gets on your wick. One handy thing that they've added is the revive progress bar. Do you remember when you were downed and the characters would come over and stand by you? You would never actually know how long it was going to take for you to get back up again. But now you can see a progress bar whenever anyone is down. A progress bar pops up saying revive, and that's really handy. Another great thing they've done is they've actually given us a fix for the motion blur. Well, not a fix, but on the consoles, you couldn't actually adjust the motion blur at all. At least you couldn't on the PS4. So what they've done is they've given us an option to tone it down from 0 to 10. So turn that off if that's been getting on your wick. Apparently, it's been making people physically sick. Hilarious. Right then, the combat, which is obviously incredibly important. Now, since the patch, I feel there's been an overall big improvement in the combat, and I've noticed that I'm getting a lot less frustrated, and I am throwing considerably fewer tantrums. See, they've cut back on the amount of high-level enemies that can spawn at once. This is a good thing because at some points it felt like you were being utterly swamped by high-level enemies, and the only person who was able to beat them would have been Dr. Manhattan by turning them all into business cards or Smarties or something. They've also fixed an issue where summoning the Hulkbuster near interactable items caused you to get stuck on the spot. I brought this up earlier. Remember, that happened and caused my crash, and it was so annoying to me, I've got to be honest with you. I drove my car through Tesco's front window. There's been a good improvement made to Iron Man's lock-on abilities, which is pretty good. They've sorted that out. I've tried with Cap, you know, where you you lock on with his shield and they bounce around everybody. I found that really quite irritating because if one of the locks gets broken, he just puts the shield back on his shoulder, and that's quite irritating. Now, it does seem to be a bit more forgiving now, to be honest with you, but it still does need some attention. They need to get that fixed so that if one of the locks is broken, it doesn't reset. Anyway, they've also reduced the aggressiveness of turrets and ranged enemies, which is really good because sometimes you just get peppered by the beekeepers, you know, with the shotguns. You see these things flying towards you constantly, so they've reduced the frequency of shooting you with those, which is great because at some points it made me so angry I wanted to spit on the floor. And I did. In my own house. Thanks, Avengers. They've also given those adaptoids, because that's the only way I can describe them, an overhaul so you can actually avoid that laser attack now. Remember, they just shoot you with it wherever you were. The only time you could avoid it was if you did a perfect dodge, and obviously this never happened. I've never done anything perfectly in my life. Now, they are less aggressive as well in a group, so they don't all just stand around you and punch you until you die. That was slightly unfair. And then when you get hit, instead of lying down for 10 minutes and having a cup of tea, the reaction of the character is a lot shorter, which gives you a lot of time to recover and fight fight back. Plus, their fireball attacks are easier to see in combat. I don't really know what that means. I haven't really noticed. But all in all, there's been a great sweep through the combat, and it's infinitely better. I can attest to that. I've been trying a few missions, and I just haven't been as angry and as annoyed. So I think they've done a good job. Right, let's have a quick chat about the gear and the challenge cards and the rewards and the things. Now, first off, the fabrication machine has been fixed, so it just doesn't eat the patterns and then burp gas in your actual face. No, you actually get rewards now for cashing in your patterns, which is really, really good. They also fixed an issue with the resources. Some resources were disappearing when they were hitting over 32,000. They've raised the cap to 65,000 on all resources and credits, but they've said that if you have lost a large number of units, rather not credits, I beg your pardon, if you lost a large number of units, then go to Square Customer Services and cry your eyes out and beg with them, and they might give it back to you, although I haven't got a clue. Go on, find out what happens and let me know if you got your units back. The issue with some cosmetic outfits reverting to a lock state has been addressed for the most part, so most people now can access the costumes that got locked. I don't know why that happened, but it did happen, and it happened to loads of people. However, I've been looking at Reddit, and there still are quite a few people who have costumes and things like that still locked. So it's not been totally eradicated. I've seen people talking about Thor's civilian outfit and Iron Man's iconic outfit, but there's lots of others there too. It's difficult to know how widespread it is though, but it does seem to have worked and been fixed for a lot of people. Just in case you are still having problems though, I'm going to leave links in the description for you to go to the Play Avengers subreddit where you can actually leave feedback on their bug thread, or of course you can go directly to Square Enix customer service and tell them that I haven't got any clothes, I'm running around naked. A great thing they've done is they've increased the power cap for threat sectors, drop zones and hives to 130, so now it's really worth doing them because you'll get gear dropping a bit higher than your level and you're going to get some meaningful progress done, which is great. It's taken me ages to get a grip of Thor. And they've also made sure that elite hives are dropping at the correct power as well, and rarity, so apparently there's no more level 1 greens dropping after you've slogged your guts out through an elite hive. They've also fixed gear dropping at level 1 instead of the correct level for your character. However, again, Reddit, some people are saying that this is still going on. Not too many, but, you know, I don't know. I think you're all lying about it anyway. You're probably just all lying to make friends. They've made fixes to the exotic gear so it has better attributes than legendary and epic gear, so now they're finally worth earning. And they've also made it so that they've got better perks too. And they've done this by basically reducing the perks that were on the legendary gear. They were having too many on them, and they were basically being exotic gear in nature, so they've sorted that out too. The heroic cards that haven't been progressing, people haven't been earning points, they've given you 22 points as a sorry for this. Now make sure you don't just get it, you're going to have to go to each character and then go to their challenge card, and that's when you'll get the points added and get the rewards that you'll get for going up each step. So that's quite nice. Now then, there are some things still outstanding that they haven't managed to tackle yet, maybe because they're too bigger issues to deal with. So one of the major ones is some people haven't been able to complete the interrogation anxiety mission. There's still no fix for this. You're going to have to go on grinding your teeth for a bit longer, I'm afraid. There's still bugs with the PS4 trophy system, but they are working on them hard in the middle of the night using miner's lamps and patience. Now you must learn patience, or you could just not learn patience and froth at the mouth and puke. It's entirely up to you, but that one still hasn't been dealt with yet. A big one that they still haven't fixed, and this has really rubbed loads of people the wrong way, unfortunately, is where a lot of us are unable to accept the daily faction and the villain sectors missions. After you've completed them once, you can't seem to collect them again. It's a pretty big deal. This is a great source of leveling up your characters and a great source of points. I wouldn't have thought this one will be much longer though, as it's getting on everyone's wick. There's still issues with the skill tree, with some points being not able to be earned above a certain level. Some characters are stuck on level 49 and some of them are getting level 51, which is completely useless, so that's needing to be sorted out too. So there you are. They've addressed a lot, but there's a lot more to go. Then once they get the bugs ironed out, we're going to need to start looking at balancing the end game. I think getting more varied environments in and a few more changes, changing it up a little bit. The environments do seem a bit samey when you're doing threat sectors and drop zones, and there's too many interiors as well that seem to be reused. And the thing is, with a game like this, an online game like Destiny, which let's face it now is in a fantastic position, it takes time for it to evolve and change and become the game that it's going to be. And I think it does this by getting feedback from people. But unfortunately, this pisses loads of people off because it's not in that state when it first launches. But I do think the basis of the great game is there. And what they've done right are the heroes, which, let's face it, is the most important thing. They feel great to use. Their skill development is meaningful, and controlling them requires practice, but it's not annoying, it's rewarding. And I think we want to get our teeth into some juicier baddies too, and I think this will start to happen when we start getting the character drops like Kate Bishop and Hawkeye in October. So quite frankly, I think we're in for a long haul, but it's going to be good, and it's showing so much promise that I am going to stick with it because, well, quite frankly, these kinds of things are my bag, baby. Well, there we go. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope my information was amusing and informative as well. And as for me, sausage out.